I spoke with one local business owner who said she's been having to pay 4 times as much to get her shipments in. Today, President Biden presented a possible solution to the delays, but will there be enough staffing to make it a reality? Lately, goods are being loaded onto ships and are struggling to come off.
About 90% of my shop are things from Japan.
Margaret Armour owns a shop called I Go Tokyo in Chattanooga's North Shore and said she typically relies heavily on overseas shipping.
I've had something stuck on the ship for about 6 months, and so what was normally a 3.5 month time frame has almost doubled.
Now she's turning to airfare for transportation, which is much more expensive.
Normally this box, which has some lighter stuff but also heavier stuff, before would have been about $90 for me to have sent, and this last one cost me around $400.
President Joe Biden addressed this issue on Wednesday.
The Port of Los Angeles announced today that it's going to begin operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
One of the 2 largest ports in the country, Biden says 40% of imports come through Los Angeles and Long Beach. He said traditionally the ports closed down on nights and weekends.
The night hours are critical for increasing the movement of goods because highways are less crowded in the evening, at night.
He also said large corporations like Walmart are stepping up to put in more work during these evening hours. But the question is there enough staffing to meet this demand?
Particularly in the West Coast, but other areas in the United States, labor during the regular day shift hours is a problem already.
Joe Saggio is the Chief Operations Officer at Steam Logistics in Chattanooga. He believes this could be a step in the right direction, but there may be some challenges along the way.
If we can, it'll be great. But I do believe we'll see some challenges. Again, the union's a pretty powerful entity, and maybe there's some things that they can do and incentivize.
President Biden said the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach will be open over 60 hours a week. That's double the hours they were operating at previously.
Whenever you have this human input, there's the risk of human error.
We're digging deeper into a lawsuit exposing an expensive mistake with taxpayer dollars. Now the city is blaming it in part on relaxed protocols during the COVID-19 pandemic.
So their workload was heavier than normal. The payroll supervisor was on FMLA. They were reduced staff and they were working from home.
City Auditor Stan Sewell says a city employee manually keyed in a mileage reimbursement for Yelena Davis. When that $40,000 mistake happened, Sewell says much of the staff was working from home and a second check of the numbers didn't happen.
So in a different environment than normal. So you could say the COVID pandemic, the work at home policies that we had were probably the primary driver.
The lawsuit says when confronted about the overpayment, the employee says that she didn't notice it. She later quit her job. Hi, this is Christy Calcagno from News Channel 9. I'm trying to get a hold of Miss Davis. No luck when we tried to get her side.
It wasn't like the government did this internal audit and found it. A whistleblower told them, then they looked into this one specific case. Are there other cases? I think we all want to know that.
The city now says that they're relying on a new payroll system to ensure this expensive mistake doesn't happen again.
Is there a possibility that it could happen to others and maybe the city doesn't know about it yet?
Could have happened. Could have. This same thing effective July 1, this exact occurrence of this type of error could not happen. Can we make errors? If there are humans involved in any system, we can have errors.
Now, the city says that new electronic accounting system went back online on July 1st. Employee expense reimbursements are now initiated, verified, and approved, then deposited into the employees' bank accounts without any manual entries. As for the error, Sewell now says that the risk of reoccurrence is highly unlikely.
Red Bank community members expressed concerns today, especially about this school, Red Bank Elementary, and why this current map could mean some here might not have a say.
Just to keep order.
County commissioners moving forward with this map. It adds 2 new districts to Hamilton County. If approved, 2 new commissioners will be joining the 9 in this room.
And we've grown so much. We're now over 366,000 residents. So I do think it was time to look at, do we need to expand the commission a little bit?
The redistricting process is constitutionally mandated, meaning census data is used every 10 years to redraw the map lines that determine who has a seat at commission.
Your local elected officials, the decisions that they make in this room and at the city council and in the school board affect your daily life more than any other elected official in this country.
But today, some voice concerns that the process is leaving out key players when it comes to education.
I think it's really important for the county commission and the school board members to collectively talk about this.
So far, that joint meeting has not happened. But if approved, the lines drawn today will automatically become the lines that decide school board districts, adding 2 new members there too. A look from our News Channel 9 Skyview shows us that as it stands, residents here in Red Bank could miss out on representation.
No recourse for me if I can't vote for them.
Red Bank Mayor Holly Berry says current lines mean her children are zoned to attend Red Bank Elementary, but she would not get to vote for the school board member that represents that school.
Adjust the District 6 lines so that it doesn't just include the city limits of Red Bank, because our community goes beyond our city limits and it includes our schools.
Now, at this point, the map is still not final. There will be 21 days before that map is voted on, and coming up at 6, we'll tell you why the number of schools in each district is also causing concern.
It's a funding formula most parents don't know about, but educators say it's something that has a big impact on the resources your students get in the classroom. HCS teacher Aaron Fowles says Tennessee's Basic Education Program, or BEP, determines what school districts need and how much they're going to get from the state to help provide it. It's a school funding framework the state says hasn't gotten an overhaul in 30 years.
Do you want the standard plan or the deluxe plan? And what is Tennessee willing to provide?
HCS math teacher Aaron Fowles says first, the state establishes what's necessary to educate your child.
Average salary your teacher should make, how many counselors should be funded for number of students, how many administrators per number of students.
And then it calculates the amount of state money each district needs to get there.
If the state determines that everyone needs a Cadillac education, but some people can't afford Cadillac, then the state comes in and makes up the difference.
But after years of complaints, the state is launching a review of the basic education program. We asked Aaron what revamping this funding framework could look like in your child's classroom.
That could look like smaller class sizes. That could look like more school nurses. That could look like more school counselors.
HCS Interim Superintendent Dr. Nakia Towns says under the current formula, state funds for an assistant principal don't kick in until a school hits 850 children.
I think we can all agree that it would be a little bit unnerving to be in a building with only one administrator with 850 kids.
And with the state inviting Tennesseans to be part of this change, Aaron says it's an important time for parents to get involved and talk to their legislators.
They need to hear from people who have children in public schools about what is happening and what day-to-day life is like for those students. If the parents want to have smaller classes, then by God, give them smaller classes.